Welcome into the 2017 IHSA Playoff Pairing Show here for this football season. John, along with Dennis and Jeff, and Jeff was kind enough to let us use his place tonight to kind of kick this whole thing off. And we have an interesting night that'll start here in about 15, 20 minutes or so with the release of the 1A pairings. And going up to that, we have a good 15 minutes at least here to talk a little bit about some things that have happened over the last 24 hours or so. And for those of you who were listening to the game last night or were out at the game between Wilmington and Coal City, of course, there was a kind of a crazy ending there in which Coal City had the ball, I think it was 3rd and 12 with under a minute to go, and they tried to throw a pass in the end zone. It was originally called a touchdown. Then they reversed that and made it an interception. There was a flag on the play, and lost in all of that was what that call actually was, which was offensive pass interference. And then they brought both teams out, tried to get ready to run a play, and then things kind of went haywire, and they called both teams back off the field and talked about it for 5 minutes or so, and then ended up running out the clock. And it was just a strange way and kind of a bad way, honestly, to end a game that for Wilmington Coal City was an important game, number one, but it was just a good football game. I mean, up to that point, it was good football, and then things just kind of went sideways, and man, that was it.
Yeah, it was a really back-and-forth game. That we kind of, Jeff and I talked about it a little bit beforehand, like who was going to win? What do you think? And Jeff said, he goes, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes. But as we saw, Coal City throws an interception, 2 or 3 plays later, Wilmington fumbles the football. And so both teams made mistakes. And, you know, like you said, unfortunately it came down to that play deciding, you know, what happened, and just my opinion, that touchdown should have never been signaled. I know it's the back judge made the signal. It's his call. In that case, that is the end zone line is his line. But the side judge, from what I understand, overruled him and said, no, it was an interception, that he didn't come down with possession of the football. The Coal City receiver did not have possession when he came to the ground. So it's just like college, just like the pros, you have to be down with the ball in the end zone.
Well, and it was the thing that kind of made it strange was they talked about it for 5 or 10 minutes, and in that time frame, you said somebody made the determination or made the call.
The head official made the call, but I think the stands and everyone was just trying to figure out what was going on. They were so confused that it just got overlooked. Because I mean, I'm on the sideline taking pictures, and the head official, because Coach Rinks was out on the field, and he turned to him and said, "You're going to want to decline this call." And he's like, what? And he called offensive pass interference, and he declined it even before I think Coach even said he declined it. But, I mean, obviously Wilmington's not going to accept if it's their ball, they're not going to accept pass interference offensive and give the ball back to Coal City at 3rd and a mile.
And it was just, the whole thing was kind of an odd way to end the game and an unfortunate way to end the game. But and an important game for both of those teams, too, because Wilmington came in with 1 loss. They now finished with 1 loss, and Coal City really needed to win that game last night to have a shot at a home playoff game in Week 1, and now dropping to 6-3, they're more than likely going to have to go on the road in 4A. And as we know, 4A is a loaded kind of bracket every year, and that's a big difference. And I still think he didn't catch the ball.
They don't have IC.
That's true. And they also don't have
not this year.
Phillips, who went up to 5. So,
but another big game last night that I was amazed. Don't get me wrong. I figured Piatone would keep it kind of close, as good as Hersher had been playing all year. But to be able to go in at Hersher and beat them 35-28 is amazing. And Piatone finishes the year 8-1 with a higher seed than Wilmington, even though Wilmington beat them.
Yeah,
because they had more. I call them playoff points. They call them
opponent wins.
Records. But it's what playoff points used to be.
Well, that's what everybody calls them still. Well, that was a 14-0 game, right? Hersher was up 14-0 in the first quarter, I think, right?
I think Piatone was up 14-0, and then Hersher came back, and then Piatone went up. It was back and forth.
Yeah, I know it was back and forth after the first quarter. It started to. Yeah, the game last night though was a lot of fun to watch.
It was. It
was
was a
a lot
really
of
good
fun.
football game, and from a fan perspective, having that game in Week 9 is great because you kind of get to see a preview of
Yeah.
playoffs. I know coaching staffs aren't too thrilled with that because they would like to get an idea early on and kind of not have that big physical game going into the playoffs. But just strictly from our perspective of watching it, I love it in Week 9. I just think it's a good way to end the year.
I agree with you on that too.
The Cats did a good job moving the ball. So did Cole City.
Yeah.
I mean, Cole City's got a quarterback. Is he only a
He's a sophomore, yeah.
And he's got a good arm.
So,
I mean, he
coach's son.
He picked apart the offense pretty good when he was open. He stayed clean for the most part during.
He
the
missed
night.
a couple passes,
Yeah.
early on,
it was
but
windy. Yep.
yeah, that crosswind was that the wind started almost going straight down the field at the beginning of the game, but then as the game ran on and on and on, it seemed like the wind shifted a little bit and was going across the field. Even Hopwood threw a pass, and it looked like it sailed a little bit to his left. So.
Well, we have a busy night tonight. There's a lot of stuff going on. Dennis and I were talking about how many years we've been doing this. And I think this show in particular has been for at least 7 or 8 years that we've been doing this particular broadcast. And it always is kind of a crazy, insane night. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon here, as we'll have the 1A pairings come up here in just a few minutes. And then we'll work our way all the way through 8A. And interestingly enough, we got a bunch of teams from the area that are going to be in this thing. And we consider, New Lenox, Joliet, and this entire area kind of teams that will be in it. And a new one this year, particularly out of the I-8, is Streeter.
Yeah.
Is playoff eligible this year, and they have not been for a while. Matter of fact, they haven't even been close for a while. And all of a sudden this year they get to 5 wins. They have enough points, and they're going to be a new I-8 team that kind of is in the mix this year. And one that we haven't seen.
No,
we
somehow.
haven't seen them yet. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And they will be in the new conference. I mean, that's another thing we could talk
Right.
about. Is there's a new conference, and not next year, the year after that, right?
Yes.
Right.
Next year will be the regular full-on schedule, unless there is one caveat to that, and that's if Plano or Sandwich or both or whatever go to a new conference beginning next year, then that would blow that up. I can't imagine that's going to happen.
The schedules are set already. I wouldn't think they would do that.
I wouldn't think so.
No. I did see Plano and Sandwich are keeping the Interstate 8, and they invited Morris into their conference of 2 schools.
So they're keeping the name? Any word on what the new name's going to be?
No, nothing. I
haven't heard anything?
No.
Yeah, it's that whole thing. And they say that for now, but that's really difficult to get multiple teams. I mean, you're going to need multiple teams to come out there and join you in order to keep that. I can't see at the end of this whole thing that is a success, but you never know. Maybe they grab 2 or 3 teams. I mean, I said throw Westmont in there. I mean, if you can keep them in the mix with the 2 of you and you can add 1 or 2 teams, maybe you got something. Right. I don't know. I'm not sure how they feel about that Westmont thing anyway, because I think that was kind of...
Yeah. And it's not just, from what I understand, talking with people, it wasn't just the decision in football of why Westmont was not one of the smaller schools that was invited back in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
It was having issues with them getting there on a school night, during the like fall winter sports, being late, and just the common courtesy, missing their AD and people missing meetings, stuff like that. And it's just unfortunate for the kids at Westmont. They're going to just kind of be up in limbo. What do they do up there? They're kind of landlocked.
Right.
I mean, I know there's some smaller like Christian conferences or something up there that they could join.
But even a lot of those, though, are very because I know a lot of the teams from those private school conferences, those have been put together for a little while, and most of them are pretty full. So I don't even know if there's a lot of maneuverability there either. It's a strange. I mean, they're stuck in a bad position because there's not a whole lot there for them.
Yeah. They got a couple good places to eat, though. Good barbecue place and
They
Five
do.
Guys, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised Lyle stayed in. I know they're one of the original, but but I'm surprised that we kept Lyle in the conference. They're another team that's up north.
Yeah.
But I think it's just Lyle's been there and that they participate and they seem to. I mean, they're just all around good when it comes to athletics and everything else that makes up a conference.
And Lyle, even though it's a little bit of a struggle getting there, to me it's different than going to like Sandwich and Plano. Because I know going to Lyle, I might have to deal with a little bit of traffic, but I know it's 55, 355, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
If I go out to, Plano and Sandwich, I got to go back roads and I have to cut across. And
Westmont.
Yeah, there's no easy way to get there.
Yeah.
That's the aggravating thing. And I think for looking strictly from the I-8 going forward or whatever this new conference is going to be going forward, those 8 teams that are in it, that's a pretty good mix. I mean, there's a couple outliers there, but those other 6 teams that are right here playing each other every year, that's going to be a fantastic conference.
The 8 teams are obviously Wilmington, Coal City, Braidwood, Lyle, Piatone-Mantino, Streeter, and Herscher.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
And that's a really good schedule every year. So that's going to be interesting to see how that fits together moving forward. We're just a couple minutes away from getting to our pairings tonight here in 1A. As a matter of fact, in about 5 minutes or so, they'll start releasing those. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break here, run through some ads. When we come back, we'll get into 1A. And then as we get up, if you're looking at the screen here, if you happen to have it on your phone or tablet or whatever, when we get to 3A, 4A, 5A, we'll plug in all of these local teams, I-8 teams, and Morris and all them. We'll plug them in here, and then they'll just kind of be there for the rest of the night. And you can have that to look at. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the 1A pairings here in just a few minutes on the Christian Internet Sports Network.
Quigley Technology Services is your local source for computer help. They have built numerous websites, including ours, here at the Christian Internet Sports Network. Quigley Technology Services also specializes in virus removal, so your computer will get back to full speed now. And you can trust them for first-class computer repair, including free local pickup and delivery, plus on-site service, including after hours. Contact Quigley Technology Services at 815-293-7844 or stop by at quigtech.com. That's QUIG tech.com. Phelan Acres Bible Church is the perfect place if you are looking for a church to call home. They have services every week, including Sunday school at 9:45, morning worship at 11, and Wednesday night prayer meetings at 7. Phelan Acres Bible Church is located at 26009 Willow Lane in Wilmington, Illinois. And for more information, call 815-476-7818. That's 815-476-7818. If you're looking for more information on Wilmington Wildcats football, then check out the Catbackers every Wednesday at 7 at Tuffy's. Each week, Coach Reentz goes over game film, takes questions from the audience, and presents the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week awards. Plus, you'll get to hang out with other Wildcat fans and get the inside scoop on next week's game. So be sure to check out the Catbackers every Wednesday at 7 at Tuffy's.
Back here on the playoff pairing show as we're just about ready to get this underway. Matter of fact, we're going to...
Yeah, it looks like they start drawing at always 8:10. We always won a little bit early, but about 8:10 is when they're going to start the drawings.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. I mean, they're pretty quick about it. They go through 1A, 2A, 3A, and up. I don't think there's anything weird this year.
No, not really.
I think they got rid of quads, right?
Yep.
They're only doing halves, quarters.
Yep, 16.
16. Mm-hmm. So, except for in 8, 7, and 8A, right?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Well, we'll wait for that, and they're putting up 7A schools that haven't been in it for a long time. Maine West since 2002. Rockford East going back to 2001. Boy, that's some pretty significant playoff droughts out of 7A. Buffalo Grove since 2003. Alton's up there in 2006. And, you kind of being around this Wilmington program, you get spoiled after all. I mean, it's been
what did I see?
22 straight years now.
St. Joe Ogden did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, they didn't.
It's their ends their 27th consecutive year of making the playoffs, something like that.
That's incredible. And then you look at teams like that who haven't been in for 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah. That's a real, that's when you're just excited.
I saw down in the South, Harrisburg didn't make it in this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they missed it. I think they only won 3 games. DuQuoin's finally back in.
Oh, nice. They're a 2A school, aren't they, though?
Yeah.
Well, they're still doing whatever their IHSA TV does, but they'll get to these pairings here in just a minute, and when they get to those, we'll give them to you. I know from our local area we have, obviously, Coal City and Wilmington are both in, and then we have Piatone and Mantino, who are going to be strong playoff contenders. Herscher, of course, has only lost 1 game, and that one being last night. And then we have Morris, that has lost a couple of games, including last night's game to Geneseo. Minooka will be in it as well. I believe Plainfield South is in. All of those Lincoln Way schools over in New Lenox will make it. JCA is not in again.
Second year in a row.
Yeah. Providence is, with what Jeff told me was 59 playoff points.
Wow. Providence 5-4 with 59 playoff points.
That's crazy. That's a ridiculous number. But so Providence will be in, and of course, Bolingbrook's in there as well. All right, here's the 1A bracket. We'll start with number 1 seed Lena Winslow going up against 16 Stark County. 8 and 9, Milledgeville and Abington. The 4-13 will be Stockton and North Fulton, and Freeport-Acwin will take on Fisher. That's a 5-12 matchup.
The Bunnies.
Yep, Fisher Bunnies, you're right. Or the Freeport Pretzels too, right? I think that's what it is.
Really?
I'm pretty sure Freeport Pretzels.
You guys don't make me look this stuff up now.
Well, that's what you're here for.
I'm fairly certain that's
right?
That's what it is. Okay, second part here. Number 2 seed Anawan Weathers will go up against 15 Orangeville. Number 7 Dakota will take on the 10 seed Princeville. 3 seed Forreston will go up against 14 seed Salt Fork, and number 6 Ottawa Marquette, kind of a local team, going up against Fulton. The Fulton Steamers.
I remember those.
Fulton, yep.
Ottawa Marquette right down the road here, and have had a bunch of really good seasons in a row here. So that is the 1A bracket. I'm not really sure what
we're watching.
One of the teams that must have made it in. They're playing basketball
with hula hoops around their neck for some odd reason.
Wasn't it Fulton that had a little steamer that went down the track and they scored a touchdown?
All right, here we go. Here's some more. Number 1 seed Tuscola will take on the 16 Chester. Number 8 Arcola will go up against number 9 Brown County. Number 4 Carrollton will take on 13 Madison, and number 5 Camp Point Central goes up against number 12 Calhoun. We go down toward Amish country with Arcola and all those teams. But just going through the 1A brackets here, not a whole lot from our area in 1A other than Ottawa Marquette, who we just saw who they were playing a moment ago. They'll go 1A, of course, then 2A, which will get a couple more teams there, and then 3, 4, 5 will be a lot of the local team. We won't get too much of those until 3A. We'll just kind of wait till they go through some of this here. But 1A over the years has been interesting because some of those little private schools have started to drop down into 1A. So here's the last part of that. Number 2, Red Hill will take on 15 Pleasant Hill. Number 7, Decatur LSA will take on Cumberland, a 10 seed. Number 3, Argenta Oriana will go up against number 14, Central A&M. Number 6, Athens will get number 11, Warrensburg Latham. I have no idea what Decatur LSA is.
Never heard of them.
They're from Decatur.
Is that a private school, you think? Look that one up.
Sounds like it.
I can't. IHSA.org is down. I can't get to anything.
Oh.
So
I'll look it up.
I refresh. I'm waiting to try. I was going to try to pull up the brackets to help John out here, but it is just loading. So, yeah.
I'll just look up Decatur LSA. I'm just curious
to
know what.
Are they Lutheran?
Yeah, Lutheran School Association. Decatur Lutheran School Association.
Those Lutherans known for their football.
Yeah.
Their potlucks and their football.
Yeah. So 1A kind of in the books. We went through that a little bit here, and now there'll be at least a couple of minutes before we get to the 2A brackets. Of course, now the 3A is Immaculate Conception is in there, and of course that's going to be the kind of the head of the class when it comes to 3A. But that north half always seems to be
loaded. Yeah.
for 3A, and I don't think it's going to change much.
I thought I saw the projections that there will not be a single 5-4 team in 3A at all, top to bottom.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's what Seuss had. He had posted on Twitter. Not a single 5-4 team in 3A.
Wow, that's amazing.
It looks like there's going to be a lot of 8-1s. I'm not sure how many 9-0s there are, but I think there's some more from down south, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, kind of hang out here until we get to the 2A. But last night, I know Morris went down in defeat. That dropped their seeding a little bit as they ended up at 7-2. Of course, the big one last night was Herscher losing because they went from a really high seed in 4A to now being at 8-1 and kind of dropping down a little bit there and not quite as good a position as they were in. And then, of course, Coal City losing last night might have gone from hosting a game to being on the road.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Well, Peatone's got to be feeling good today, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I would definitely think so.
I believe they should be doing great. Sound like they ran the ball really good.
Yeah.
They had a game plan, stuck to it, and was able to win.
And we're still going through the 1A pairings here as we get set for the 2A ones to come out. And over the years, there's been a few 2A teams that have been around here. Of course, Seneca for a while was doing some damage in 2A. And speaking of teams that I believe in the I-8.
Yeah.
Coming up here
well, that's
shortly.
going to be the big thing next year is you're going to have teams that are struggling to find games with Seneca out in the middle of the year.
Yep.
Well, Wilmington needs a Game 7 still.
Who do we have for Game 1 and 2? That's my
good.
question.
By
Coal
the
City,
way,
I think, is back up.
Yeah, Coal City's in the early part of the schedule.
is
I know
1
that.
or 2.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, good luck with a week 7.
Yeah. I
That's
don't know what you do with that. What do you do?
I don't know.
We're going to Florida.
Right. Yeah, we're playing. We'll go play. What's that team out in California that won like 128 games in a row? Whatever it was. We'll go play IMG in Florida.
Yeah, IMG. Yeah, Coach Range was saying that they tried to get an Indiana team, I guess, and they decided not to play us.
It's difficult, and it's difficult to find an opponent that, you don't want an easy opponent. But most of those easy opponents aren't going to play against you. And you don't want somebody that's going to come in and be a 7-8A team and, get kids hurt. It's the difference. We have a lot of kids play both ways. And when you get up to those teams, there's nobody plays both ways.
Right. Yeah.
And they're the size-wise. This is the athletes they're able to pick versus our athletes.
And it's a weird spot in a season, too, because if you come up to the 7th game and you've got 3 losses already, or 2 losses even, you're...
Yeah, it's just a weird, because that's always conference games for everyone in week 7. So, that's a really strange one, and I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but I know they're still working on it. And, if it's a week 8 or week 9 or 1 or 2, it's much easier to find somebody to play.
Right.
But once you get in that week 3 through 7, that's just difficult.
It's just I would think it's going to be a 1-year deal for whoever they get, because the following year is going to be with the new conference.
Yeah.
And
But I think the way the new conference thing is that the first 2 games are out of conference and the rest are conference games.
Conference games. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
they're going back to that original format,
which I like. I like having a couple kind of out of the conference, although it's difficult to schedule things, which is...
Yeah, I think our big problem with just having all conference games before is that you're always playing the same teams every year over and over, and you don't sometimes it's the same competition, it seems like.
I mean, it's been kind of cool the last few years. We got to play at Ottawa, which we probably never would have done, and then St. Joe Ogden.
Yeah. We have never played St. Joe Ogden at St. Joe Ogden.
No, it's always been here.
We've played them 4 or 5 times now, and it's always been here. Always.
It just seems like they're always playing St. Joe Ogden and Byron.
Yeah.
Like, it's just on a perpetual loop when it comes to playoff time. It's St. Joe Ogden and Byron.
Byron hit the skids for a few
Winnebago.
years.
We played those guys a few times. Get a lot of... Is it the Big Northern? Is that what that is?
There's like 25
Monticello.
teams in that or something.
Yeah.
How many teams are in that? 12, 16?
We had Oregon, right, and Stillman Valley.
There's a lot out there. You know, for a while, and this is not the same thing, but Spring Valley Hall for years had a really good team. And
I think they made it this year.
They did, yeah.
Yeah,
they're
that kind of tailed off.
They're coming back a little bit. They're getting the program back on track.
Well, let's see here if we can get to Class 2A in a moment. For some odd reason, IHSA has taken.
This seems to always happen every year.
I mean,
it gets bogged down.
They hit the first ones early. They weren't supposed to start till 8:10. They started at 8:05.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess they're putting out.
Yeah, they
those
did do the
1As
1As at pretty quick, but it happens every year.
Yeah,
you know, there's a lot of people
always
hitting
goes
it.
an hour and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll work through. They're talking about the 1A brackets now, and then we'll get to 2A here in just a moment. And of course, Wilmington is in that 3A bracket, which should be 8:30 or so when we hit that.
Probably.
And then, of course, once we get to 3A, then it just kind of everything comes at you, because 3A through 8A is a bunch of teams that we all know and kind of recognize. So we'll get to that here in a moment. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's take a break. They're going to get to the 2A ones here in just a minute. We might as well take a break ourselves. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes with those 2A brackets. You're listening to the Playoff Pairing Show on the Christian Internet Sports Network.
If you need something done around your house, chances are Beth's Busy Bees can get it done. They specialize in residential and commercial cleaning, but they can also do lawn care, small home remodeling and repair jobs, and even things like caregiving. Beth's Busy Bees is a small, family-owned business, and they will treat you right every time. Call 815-685-9111 for Beth's Busy Bees today. Warren's Collision Center is your hometown body shop. Your vehicle will get expert care with their drive-on frame rack and in their Bink spray booth. Warren's offers free estimates, pickup and delivery service, and they will get you set up with a loaner car while yours is in the shop. Warren's Collision Center is located at 242 North Front Street in Braidwood, or online anytime at warrenscollision.com. That's warrenscollision.com. Warren's Collision Center, where they care beyond the repair.
What's up, man? Good to see you're here. Do you want a beer?
No thanks, I don't drink.
Oh, come on, relax. Have some fun. Everyone else is drinking.
We have a lot to do tomorrow and I can't be all hungover from drinking.
Yeah, I'm having enough trouble with school and sports and clubs and so much stuff.
I don't have time to be worrying about if I got caught drunk.
Come on, man. This will help relax your mind and worries, and you'll have a good time.
Oh, man, cops. Run. We better book it out of here.
I'm so glad we weren't stupid and didn't drink. I know, right?
The Wilmington Coalition for a Healthy Community is committed and proud to bring programs and resources to help area residents. Our mission is to build a safe, productive, and substance-free community through these programs. The issues and problems that come with alcohol and drug abuse are very real, and the effects can be devastating. If you or anyone you know is in need of help, please call 815-476-1660. Help is only a phone call away.
This ad is brought to you by the Wilmington Coalition for a Healthy Community in partnership with Sebring Goodman Teen Institute, ONDCP, and SAMHSA.
Back here on the 2017 IHSA Football Playoff Pairing Show as we get set for Class 2A to be revealed here in just a moment. We just went through 1A, and here is 2A. Number 1 seed Sterling Newman will take on number 16 Aurora Christian. Boy, that's an early interesting matchup. Hope Academy will go up against Orr. That's an 8-9 matchup. And number 4, Orion, will get 13 seed Rockford Christian. Number 5, Clifton Central will go up against 12 Mercer County. Boy, that's a real Sterling Newman and Aurora Christian right off the top. That's I know Aurora Christian's not exactly what they used to be, but name recognition-wise, that's a pretty good one. Second part of the bracket here, number 2 seed Gibson City Melbourne Sibley will go up against Eastland. Number 7 Fieldcrest will get number 10 West Carroll. Number 3 Rock Ridge, we've been out there before, will take on number 14 El Paso Gridley. And number 6 Knoxville will get number 11 Chicago Marshall. The Rock Ridge Rockets, right? Out from Taylor Ridge.
The Rockets.
Taylor Ridge, yeah, that's right.
They had a beautiful facility when we went out there. That
really
was
nice.
But they will get El Paso Gridley. Now we get the other half of this. Number 1, West Hancock will play number 16, Auburn. Number 8, Bismarck Henning will go up against number 9, Carmi White County. It's number 4, Morois Forsyth going up against number 13, Illini West, another team that people are familiar with. Number 5, El Dorado will get number 12, Redbud. So one team out of that group, Illini West, getting Morois Forsyth.
Yeah, that was a nice drive. It was a good game. I'm like one of the probably the greatest games I've seen.
Is that the one that's way out there in the west part? Like, you feel like you're driving for days
south
to
of
get
Peoria.
there?
Yeah. Almost to the river, but not quite. That used to be Carthage. Carthage.
Yeah, Carthage, Illinois, yep. All right, so last part of 2A here. Number 2, Westville will get 15, Deer Creek, Mackinac. Number 7, Bushnell. I'm not even sure what the last part of that is. Goes up against number 10, Carlisle. Number 3, Tri-Valley will get 14, Bunker Hill. And, boy, they didn't even care about the last part of that as they pulled that in a hurry. But that is the 2A brackets, and for the most part there, not a whole lot locally, although some teams in there that we know, with Rock Ridge and Illini West, and some teams who kind of dropped in enrollment just enough to kind of get pushed down there a little bit. But, yeah, interestingly enough, boy, back in the day, Aurora Christian was 3A, and a real strong 3A, and now they're down there with Sterling Newman.
Yeah, from when they were pretty close to closing. They were
real close.
Financial problems and stuff like that. And I mean, we offered to pay them a penny on the dollar for their football field and move it down here to Wilmington.
You know what?
Was a nice football field.
There's a nice field in the middle of
God's Field.
I have never been to that field.
I know. I was there.
Yeah,
I got a generator.
Yeah,
I got a generator in the stands to do the play-by-play.
You were on the visitor side.
It was me and whoever you had doing the Braidwood games for a while. When you were doing three teams. Yeah, we went over there and they're like, start up the generator, and it worked. You know, we did the game, and it was a pretty good game. That was Terry Anderson's son's senior year. Not Nick, but Ty. Sorry, Ty. Oh, and Terry, we missed Terry. Terry would have let us use his shed tonight, but he's out in Iowa or Ohio.
He's out in Ohio now,
He's out in Ohio. But he did tell us we could go in there. That just without him there, but that would just be weird.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking of. I don't really. I mean, as nice as that is and all.
Right. We're here to use your shed.
Yeah, without you.
So 2A is kind of on the board here, and then we'll have a good, 5 or 10 minutes before we get to 3A. But and then once we get there, we'll kind of notice a bunch of different things. And again, once we get to 3A, 4A, and 5A, we'll take a look, and I'll make sure I get those posted here on the page as you're looking at it at home or on your phone, or if you're driving around doing whatever here tonight. That's one of the cool things when we first started doing this, internet-wise. You had to literally be sitting in front of a desktop computer because there was no other way to really do it all that well. Yeah. And now, in our car, we got the Bluetooth thing, and I can stream it right through the car radio, and I can drive around and listen to it just like a regular radio thing. And I don't think any of us ever dreamed that you could just walk around, wherever and be at work or something and listen to it. It's kind of cool that how far things have come. By the way, Rock Ridge. There they are, the Rockets going up against El Paso Gridley. And as you can tell, we are in stall mode.
Stall mode.
We're waiting.
I thought he was going to say stealth mode.
They're going to talk about their matchups. And did you get all of the 2A bracket?
You know what? Do you have a bill up there? I might as well take a look here.
Yeah, go to the bottom there.
And
or the second half of the brackets. They came up and went away real quick.
Oh, that's all of it. Yep.
Well, so Sterling Newman is at 9-0. That 1-16 matchup with Aurora Christian. Sterling Newman Central Catholic is 9-0. Aurora Christian having some down years, not just one, at 5-4. Some other teams. This is kind of the northern edge of this thing. Chicago Hope Academy at 7-2 will get Orr. That's also out of Chicago at 7-2. Clifton Central, which is probably the most local of these teams, at 7-2 will get Aledo Mercer County, who's 5-4. Gibson City, Melvin Sibley at 9-0 gets Lanark Eastland.
Yeah. That's a good year for Gibson City.
That is
real good year for them. Yep.
And the rest of this here, Fieldcrest actually Mononk at 7-2, Savannah out of West Carroll at 6-3. That's the 7-10 matchup. Taylor Ridge, Rockridge, which we were just talking about, at 8-1, gets 5-4 El Paso Gridley, and then Knoxville at 7-2 and a 6 seed gets Chicago Marshall, who is an 11 seed at 6-3. And I think the other one there that we were kind of talking about was Illini West.
They got Murrah Forsyth.
And
at 8-1.
It's Murrah Forsyth at 8-1 and Illini West at 6-3. That's a 4-13 matchup there in 2A.
I think it's kind of amazing that we've played a lot of these teams.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And they're going down in enrollment. We kind of stay about even. You know?
And the interesting thing too is some of the teams that have been on the lower end of that. Coal City has grown now into a decent sized 4A school. I mean, a lot of these, just imagine Plainfield back a number of years ago. That was one little school in a town of 2,000 people.
Yeah, right.
Now they have 3 schools?
Yeah, 3 high schools, yep. Big high schools.
Big, yep.
As they continue to go through the 2A bracket here. By the way, while we got a moment, next week, no matter what, we'll have the game for you here. If it's Friday night, then Dennis is going to handle those duties because I will not be back from Tennessee quite yet. That's kind of a yearly thing at this point. If it's Saturday, it just kind of depends on when that falls on Saturday, who's going to be there. But no matter what, we're going to have that covered for you. More than likely, well, it should be. I mean, unless something really bizarre happens, Wilmington will be at home.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy doing the game every year. Your dad, I know the first year I think I did it. Your dad's like, "Are you doing play-by-play?" I'm like, "I've never done it before." I'm like, "We'll figure it out."
We're just gonna wing. Yeah, it's and the last couple of years I've listened to that thing. I'm down in Tennessee doing broadcasting work for a volleyball tournament every year. That's why I'm not here for a national tournament, and in the facility we're in, I can't get the internet's always down, and I can't get a cell phone signal hardly ever. So I have to, in between, volleyball matches, run outside, and get my phone where I can get a signal, and try to listen a little bit to see what's going on, and then come back. But the last few years it's been kind of one-sided all the way around.
Yeah,
so.
they've been.
Well, let's go ahead and take a break here while they're doing one as well. When we come back, we'll get to 3A, and we'll find out where Wilmington's at. We'll be back in just a moment here on the Christian Internet Sports Network.
Hey, Billy, where do you think you're going with that beer?
What's the big deal? He is at home.
Nice, Bob. Real nice.
Look, they're practically grown. They're juniors and seniors now, and they're here for the day. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that may be true for yours, but you can't let the others drink.
In Illinois, the social host law holds adults accountable for underage drinking.
If a minor who was drinking at your house injures or kills someone, you are guilty of a Class 4 felony. You get fined. You go to jail.
So, being the host, aka the adult, letting high schoolers drink is illegal.
Be their guide. Don't provide. If you or someone you know abuses alcohol or drugs, please call 815-476-1660. Help is only a phone call away.
This ad is brought to you by the Wilmington Coalition for a Healthy Community in partnership with ONDCP and SAMHSA.
Teresa's Family Styling Salon in Wilmington is an all-ages salon that will style your hair for that special look. They offer cuts, perms, and coloring for any fashion. They also carry Paul Mitchell and Brocato products. Teresa's Family Styling Salon is located in the Southgate Plaza in Wilmington, and you can call for an appointment at 815-476-1955. That's 815-476-1955. Racchetti's Cafe and Pizzeria in Coal City is all about relaxing with family and friends while sharing an authentic Italian festival of food. They are the home of the Chicago-style deep dish pizza, but they also have a full menu including pastas, burgers, salads, and more. Check out all of their daily specials too online at racchettis.net. Racchetti's Cafe and Pizzeria is at 375 South Broadway in Coal City, and they are open till midnight or later every night. Stop in for an authentic Italian experience at Racchetti's.
All right, back here on the pairing show, and we've got the brackets out. Number 1 in 3A, at least in this side, Farmington at 9-0 will take on 6-3 Winnebago, a 16 seed. Wilmington, number 8 seed at 8-1, will get number 9 Elmwood Brimfield at 7-2. Number 4 Piatone at 8-1 will get Paxton Buckley Loda, who's at 6-3. That's a 4-13 matchup. And Immaculate Conception at 8-1 will get Watsika at 7-2. Hilariously enough, I see a 5 seed. And the other section here, number 2 Williamsville at 9-0 will get 15. There they are, Spring Valley Hall. We just talked about them at 6-3. Number 7 Bloomington Central Catholic at 8-1. We get number 10 Beardstown at 7-2. Byron, speaking of teams we were just talking about, another undefeated season for them at 9-0. They get 6-3 Eureka, a 14 seed, and Monticello at 8-1 will be a 6 seed in that round as well. As all these teams super excited to get in
from somewhere. I don't know.
Byron.
Yep, Byron.
And here's the other part here. Westclin, I have no idea who that is. 9-0. I really don't. I don't remember that name at all. Against Pleasant Plains at 6-3, a 16 seed. Number 8 Newton at 8-1 will get Alton Marquette at 8-1. They're a 9 seed. St. Teresa. That can't be right. 8-10. It's got to be 8-1. A 4 seed will get number 13 Marshall at 6-3, and number 5 Carlinville at 8-1 will get Alton Wood River at 7-2. That's a 12 seed. Boy, I do not know who Westclin is.
Really?
No. I don't recognize that name at all.
They've had some success in baseball.
Okay.
They're out that way.
Yeah, and this is, of course, the bottom part, the south part of this bracket. Number 2, Fairfield at 9-0 will get 15. Vandalia, they're 6-3. Number 7, Cesar Valier at 8-1 will get Greenville at 7-2. Greenville, the 10 seed. Number 3, Anna Jonesboro, undefeated at 9-0, will get 6-3. Hillsboro, who's a 14 seed, and Pana at 8-1 and a 6 seed. Pana will get DuQuoin, who is 7-2. So.
Yeah, the 3 seed in that bracket was undefeated.
Oh, yeah, that's, and I don't remember seeing a 5-4 team. You know, you were talking about that earlier, Dennis. I didn't see one in there. I think they're all 6-3 or higher. And of course, Wilmington, by virtue of being in the northern part of this thing, gets stuck in the same part of the bracket with IC. And
we wouldn't see them till 3rd round, though.
Quarters, right?
Yeah.
Was that the same thing? Was it quarters last year, or was it 2nd round?
Good question.
I thought we played 2 games last year? And then I thought it was 3 in. But
it could have been.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, the Wilmington's going to get
I don't remember.
Elmwood Brimfield. And out of the teams that I know something about, I mean, I know who Elmwood Brimfield is, but I know very little.
Well, the IHSA site cannot handle the playoff pairing night because it's taking forever to load anything.
And when we get that pulled up, then, of course, I'll put them up here for you as soon as we get the actual brackets in our hands or on the tablet here. We'll get that put up there for you, and we'll make a full rundown of that 3A bracket here in just a minute. But teams in there that we know a ton about, that's for sure. Oddly enough, St. Joe Ogden, not one of them, which is that's real strange seeing a 3A bracket with no St. Joe Ogden in it. And, of course, Byron back to being undefeated again. You know, I was looking, who was the – I was trying to think back to who the other team was in that bracket that Wilmington would get 2nd round if they won the first. Where
it could be Piatone, winner of Piatone and
crashed here. But
I'm going between the brackets, trying to load up stuff on Elmwood Brimfield, and the website's just chugging along.
Yeah, and it'll get there. Once things – we get a couple minutes in here, then that will free up, and we'll be able to get there. But just be patient with us here, and we'll do a full rundown of that. But 3A, as usual, is loaded, and whenever you're in the same part of the bracket with Immaculate Conception, that's a big problem. And there's IC and
right there. Yep.
You know, how would you like to be Watsika? You're a 12 seed getting in, and you got to go play IC, and that's
that looked like a failed field goal that went for a touchdown. So they're showing some highlights here.
And Immaculate Conception, one of those teams that hasn't really played any 3A opponents. Well, maybe one. Most of them are 4A, 5A type opponents. So Wilmington will get the winner if Wilmington were to beat Elmwood Brimfield. They would get the winner of Farmington and Winnebago.
Oh,
so you get either the Fighting RVs of Winnebago. I don't know what their mascot is, but I always call them the RVs.
So,
or the
no, we've played them before.
Or the Farmers. I think it is the Farmington Farmers, though. I'm pretty sure that's
really?
what. Yeah, I'm fairly certain.
So Piatone, who's Piatone playing?
Piatone will get Paxton Buckley Loda.
And then they get the winner
of that
IC
gets IC or Watsika. And I think we're pretty sure how that's going to play out. So Piatone, should they win the first round, would get IC in the second. And then I think I'm just kind of going forward here. Should Wilmington win, of course, they'll host this one. And then if Wilmington and Farmington match up, then that would be a road game for Wilmington.
Yeah, I see 2 6-3s, Winnebago and Paxton. All the rest are 8-1, 7-2.
But then how would that fall with IC? That's what I was trying to figure out, if that would be there, or I guess it depends on
who wins. So let's see, Elmhurst is at home. Obviously you take the top seed, so it would be Elmhurst at home, and then if Piatone won and Elmhurst, they would have to go to Piatone because they both hosted home games. Piatone is the higher seed, so they'd have to go there. So unless, and this one here, I mean, Farmington, Winnebago. Farmington's the higher seed. If Farmington wins and we win, we'd have to go to Farmington. We are the 8th seed. IC's the 5 seed. We'd have to go to IC again.
Okay, so if everything played out according to the way the brackets were set up, then the Wilmington IC game would be back up at IC.
So the way they do it, just so everyone can follow a little bit at home, is what they do is they take the higher seed in the first round is the home team, always. Second round, it goes off of, have you hosted a game yet? The highest seed. The highest seed, if they've hosted a game in the previous round and the other team has not had a home game, you go there. If both teams have had home games, you go to the team with the higher seed. And then when it gets further down the round through the rounds, it comes out to whatever team has had the least amount of home games. If they're tied, so it goes to the higher seed. But if they both had, if one team's had only one home game, the other one's had 2, the one with the 1 is going to travel to the one. The one with the 2 is going to travel to the 1. Sorry.
So if everything plays out the way it's supposed to, Wilmington will be on the road again. Of course, we always see all the time. There's weird upsets and stuff that happen, and it kind of throws things for a loop. But let's go through these 3A brackets one more time. I have them sitting right in front of me here. Number 1, Farmington at 9-0 will get 6-3 Winnebago, who's a 16 seed. Wilmington at 8-1 and an 8 seed gets the 9 seed Elmwood Brimfield at 7-2. So the winner of that would get Farmington or Winnebago. Piatone at 8-1 gets a 4 seed against number 13 Paxton Buckley Loda, who's 6-3, and then Immaculate Conception of Elmhurst at 8-1 will get Watsika, who's 7-2. They're a 12 seed. All of that's kind of all in that same area. Then the second part of the northern half, Williamsville at 9-0 and a 2 seed gets Spring Valley Hall, who's 6-3. They are a 15 seed. Bloomington Central Catholic at 8-1 will get 7-2 Beardstown, who's a 10 seed. Byron at 9-0 and a 3 seed gets number 14 Eureka, who is 6-3. Monticello, a 6 seed, gets number 11 Poplar Grove out of North Boone. That'll be a 7-2 Poplar Grove. Bottom part of that, Trenton out of Westglen will be 9-0 and a 1 seed against Pleasant Plains, a 16 seed at 6-3. Newton at 8-1 will play Alton Marquette, who's also 8-1. That's an 8-9 matchup. Decatur St. Teresa, a 4 seed and 8-1, will get number 13 Marshall, who's 6-3. Carlinville, a 5 seed at 8-1, will get Wood River, who's a 12 seed at 7-2. Fairfield, undefeated at 9-0 and a 2 seed, will get number 15 Vandalia, who's 6-3. Cesar Valier at 8-1 will get 7-2 Greenville. That is a 7-10 matchup. Anna Jonesboro, a 3 seed, undefeated at 9-0, will get number 14 Hillsboro, who's 6-3. And then Pana at 8-1 and a 6 seed will get DuQuoin at 7-2. And I'm going to go ahead and write that in here.
So just to go through really quick, we'll look at Elmwood Brimfield's season. And they finished the season at 7-2. They defeated Toulon Stark County 36-12. They defeated Kewanee, there's Westerfield Co-op, 30-22. They beat Peoria Heights, 66-12. They beat Havana Co-op, 64-0. They beat, how do you say that name right there?
Sciota?
Sciota?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Bushnell
Close
West.
enough.
Bushnell West.
Pretty
Prairie
close.
Co-op.
That's pretty close.
enough.
Right. They beat them 38-20. They beat Illini West 60-6.
Wow.
They lost to Farmington 28-12. They lost to Knoxville 38-42. And then they their last game of the season they beat Rushville 60-20. So they've played some pretty good teams. They've beat an 8-1. Kewanee was finished 8-1. They beat them 30-22. 38-20 was the Bushnell West Prairie Co-op. 60-6 Illini West at 6-3.
Yeah, they're Illini West in 2A, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then Farmington, they lost to them 28-12. So should be an interesting first round match. Definitely a team you do not want to overlook first round. Looks like they've had some tough opponents and some easy opponents, kind of like what Wilmington's schedule's been. Not sure what kind of offense they run, anything like that. But could be an interesting first round matchup for the Cats.
That it could be, and Wilmington will get Elmwood Brimfield. The winner of that will get Farmington or Winnebago.
Yeah.
And that's the 3A
which Elmwood have beat Farmington. What was the score of that?
No, Elmwood lost to Farmington.
They lost to Farmington.
28-12.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, because Farmington's 9-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's 3A, and I put up here on the site, or at least on the channel, the breakdown of records and all that kind of stuff for Wilmington and also Peatone and who they're playing. We'll do the same thing when we get to 4A here and 5A, so if you just come back to the site, you can kind of check in throughout the night and kind of see where local teams are at. Let's go ahead and take one more quick break. We'll come back with 4A. They'll get to that in just a minute. We'll be right back with that here on the Playoff Pairing Show.
Pro Real Estate is a family-owned business established in 1983. Its staff and sales agents work in all areas of real estate sales, from first-time homebuyers to experienced investors. Located at 506 South Water Street in Wilmington, clients are welcome to stop by to discuss their real estate needs or visit our website at pro-homes.net. For a private consultation, contact us at 815-476-7916.
All right, back here it is the 4A bracket. They just put it up, and we had to come right back for that. Number 1, Johnsburg at 9-0 will get 16. UP Inglewood at 5-4. Number 8, Rochelle at 6-3 gets 6-3. Chicago Ag Science, 8-9 matchup. 4, Chicago Sullivan at 8-1 will get the 13 Ridgewood at 6-3, and Morris at 7-2 will get a 5 seed. They will go up against number 12 Kewanee, who is 6-3. So Morris ends up with a 5 seed. That loss last night for sure hurt them in seeding. But the Redskins have had a good year. They've been solid, and even their 2 losses were very close games. So that's whoever gets them in the first round, that's a tough draw. So some team on here called the Cyclones. All right, here we go. Second part, number 2, Raby at 8-1 will get 5-4 Alleman, a 15 seed. Number 7, UP Bronzeville at 7-2 will get Richmond Burton. We know a little bit about them at 6-3. That's a 7-10 matchup. Dixon, number 3 seed at 8-1 will get Geneseo at 5-4, who just got in by virtue of last night's game. They're a 14 seed. Number 6, Genoa Kingston at 7-2 will get Elmwood Park at 6-3. That's an 11 seed. And again, a lot of teams in there we're kind of familiar with. I know didn't Coal City play Geneseo last year or the year before?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
Other 4A bracket here. Rochester at 9-0 will get Prairie Central at 5-4. That's a 1-16 matchup. Althoff Catholic at 8-1 will get Carterville at 7-2. That's an 8-9 matchup. Number 4, Heron at 8-1 will get number 13, Paris at 6-3. Tolono Unity, number 5 seed at 8-1 will get number 12, Pontiac at 6-3. So Pontiac kind of.
So does this mean Coal City and Herscher go south?
That was the southern bracket right there. That was one of them.
Oh, I thought that was the northern bracket.
I thought it said south. Maybe not.
All right.
No, that was
we
a
go. So
no, this is
number
South
2,
bracket.
Highland at 9-0 will get Quincy Notre Dame at 5-4. That's a 2-15 matchup. Number 7, Effingham at 8-1 will get Mantino. Boy, that's an odd matchup. Effingham and Mantino. Mantino at 6-3, a 10 seed. Herscher, a 3 seed at 8-1, will get Columbia at 5-4. That's a 14 seed. And Taylorville at 8-1 will get Coal City at 6-3. That's a 6-11 matchup. You want to talk about some travel times?
Yeah.
My goodness, Mantino going to Effingham?
At least they're both on the same interstate.
Well, I guess. I mean, that's a positive way to look. Glass half full kind of guy.
2.5, right? No, 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive.
See, Dennis, that you're always that kind of guy. Glass half full instead of half empty.
Thanks, John.
So, and when we get a breakdown of those brackets, I'll post them up here for you. But the weird thing there is all of those I-8 teams going south.
Yeah.
And I mean way south. So.
Yeah, Coal City, Taylorville. I think is that St. Louis way? I'm not sure. I have to look that one up.
Don't they have a breakdown? Didn't we do this
They do.
Of like
they'll do a map,
but the site is so far behind right now, and it's
we'll take
everybody's
a look at that
getting the internet nowadays, John.
Yeah, I know. That new invention.
Everybody.
So Coal City and with the loss last night, put them on a little bit of a road trip.
Yeah.
Instead of being on possibly the other end of that.
Right.
But, yes, that's an interesting Effingham and Mantino in week 1, or in round 1. That must have been a really south-heavy
Yeah, still waiting for this to
bracket for 4A. I mean, I know there's been some years where one team has dropped here or there. But
they have to
all
move
of the
somebody.
I-8 teams are.
We need to see the maps, though. That's what we need to see. Probably won't see them for a while.
That's an interesting name, the Flaming Hearts out of Effingham. That's going to be Mantino's opponent. That'll be really interesting. You know, we see some different things every now and then, but all of these different opponents for the I-8 and going to some places that haven't been quite yet. So that'll be interesting to see how all that matches up.
Jeff, what do you think about the camera work here?
Yeah.
You need to do a training class
I'm
on
getting,
how to film.
I'm getting seasick
how
watching
to
that
film
one.
high school football.
I think the guy was holding that one in his one hand and eating a hot dog in the other.
Last year was Jeff's last year of filming for how many years did you figure it out?
Since 99.
Yeah, forever.
Long time, yeah.
Before the internet.
Well,
it was before the internet.
All right.
Well,
so let's take a look here. First of all, the top half, Morris is staying in the top half against taking on Kewanee. But when you look at the I-8, all of them went south.
Everybody went south,
and Morris is only 10 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
north
it's
of Coal
not,
City?
So there must have been a lot of northern teams that I'm thinking.
So Morris will get Kewanee. Let me go ahead and kind of put these in here for you, so when you come back, you can take a look at some of this. But Kewanee at 6-3, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, that is a rough matchup for Kewanee in week 1 of the playoffs to get Morris, because that's not your typical 7-2 team, I don't think. As they're showing some Herscher
Coal City game, yeah. Interesting. Herscher, like I said, Matt, hopefully he just had a bad game. You know, can turn things around. But it looked like Herscher might have a good chance this year, but we'll see. Maybe this loss will just get them going again. And then you got Raby. They're going to talk about Raby. I believe Raby's only loss, and maybe, Jeff, you can look it up, but was to Phillips.
Boy, if that's the case, that's a high-powered loss.
So, interesting 4A bracket. I mean, it's probably going to be one of the weirdest ones. Like John said, when we get access to the maps, we'll be able to look at it. But going south, we've seen it year after year. I mean, you got it's sometimes an easier road, they say.
Yeah, sometimes.
But
it kind of depends on the year, I think, more than anything.
You have Rochester? Is that the team I'm thinking of in the south that always wins? They're out. Or they're up in?
They're out west. Rochester's out west.
Oh, okay.
But they do always win.
Yeah. Well, they beat.
They're
Phillips,
really
right?
good against.
They beat Phillips, right?
Yeah.
You won. Well,
yeah.
one not last year. Last year, I think Phillips won.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years
I think,
ago,
yeah.
they were not the favorite, but they.
And then Phillips went out and got some.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Some.
We won't get into that.
Careful. Careful.
As long as you live within the city limits of Chicago, you can go to any school you want.
Yeah.
Each school offers different curriculum.
And sports. Different sports, yeah.
So I went ahead and put the 4A teams here on the site that are kind of localized, with Kewanee being at Morris. Manteno will be at Effingham. Columbia is at Herscher. And Coal City will be at Taylorville. So kind of an even split on who's hosting and who's on the road. And also in there, Pontiac will be on the road at Tolono Unity. That's the other team kind of from.
And you have Rochester, like I said, in that south bracket, but that's in the other side of the bracket. So the earliest any team from the I-8 would see Rochester would be in the semifinals.
Semis, yep.
But that's interesting that Morris now a 4A team, which for years was 5A, and now they're kind of in that 4A division. And with Phillips moving up to 5A, that frees up some things in 4A. That's kind of wide open for a few teams to shoot at.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Phillips does. I mean, which they shouldn't have a problem because we've seen they played some 7, 8A competition this year.
I think that's the whole idea with moving up was this. They didn't want to just cruise through something again. They wanted a little bit more competition. But, yeah, that's interesting. Manteno will be on the road, a long road trip to Effingham. Coal City will be at Taylorville. I'm not really sure where Taylorville is. And Columbia has to make the road trip to Herscher, and I can only imagine that Columbia is probably not very close by either. So that's a bunch of interesting travel things going on there. By the way, if you missed it earlier, Elmwood Brimfield will be at Wilmington, and as soon as we find out something in regards to time and day and all that, we'll pass that along to you. Matter of fact, it'll be on the Facebook page here sometime this weekend. As soon as they talk, the coaches and all that, we'll have that.
We're usually pretty good about finding out Sunday sometime, and sometimes I pick it up from when the school sends out a notification. But I'll get it out as soon as I can. It'll be on the Cat Becker Twitter and Facebook page, so we'll try to get it out there.
Yeah, it'll be everywhere shortly.
I'm sure the coaches are working on it right now.
What town were we looking for again?
Raby.
No, what town?
Taylorville.
Taylorville, yeah. Trying to see where Coal City has to go to.
Doesn't say.
Well, if you look at the teams on their schedule, though, Alton, Mount Vernon, Charleston. Good grief!
That's a 5-6 hour drive down.
Yeah.
Well, Charleston's where Eastern is, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
a little south of St. Louis.
You're probably talking another 2 or 3 hour trip.
Okay, so this is the state. They're picking their state champions. 3A IC over Greenville.
Did you see the 4A one?
No.
Rochester versus whoever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I think you could just kind of, IC is not exactly a and here, I guess it's each person's picks. By the way, Joey Wagner has Morris in the 4A championship.
Oh, they have Farmington. So Farmington would have to beat IC to make it there.
Come on. That's somebody's on special something.
One of those guys has to be different.
According to my map, and when I use the Googles, it tells me that Taylorville is south, right between Springfield and Decatur, just a little bit south.
Good grief.
So
yeah, it's 2+ hours.
Yeah. Hey, anything for football.
Hey, they're cutting down on the travel time, so. because that's really important.
Would you rather have a first-round matchup of Coal City versus Hershey? I mean, for us, it doesn't
No,
matter.
I would rather play somebody else.
Yeah.
But let's see, Matt Nestor. I have no idea who that is. He picks IC over Carlinville, Rochester over Dixon. I think those are all safe. Sterling Newman is safe. I will give the one guy credit, though. Picking Farmington is not safe.
No.
That's really going out there.
They got to get one guy in there. You know, that's different.
Who's not drinking the Kool-Aid?
Right.
No.
I mean, there'd have to be something crazy happen for IC to not be there, I think. But you never know. And there's weird things that happen all the time. So
you never know. Some years you think you got a state champion football team, and you run into somebody, and you don't play your best game. And
somebody gets hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, you just never know.
Hey, Dennis, while you're there, look up Columbia. I'm interested to see who they play. Because Columbia will be at Herscher, and interesting enough for Columbia, that ends up being a bad thing that Herscher lost last night, because Herscher should have been 9-0, and Columbia would have gotten a different 8-1 team. No, it's still kind of waiting for it to load there. In any case, Dennis is going to, as soon as the website isn't crashing any longer, he'll look up Columbia. We'll take a look at that when we come back. We'll also have the 5A brackets for you as well. We'll get to those in just a minute. We'll kind of recap some other things from the playoff pairings so far tonight. Take a break. Back with more of the show in a moment here on the Christian Internet Sports Network.
Breezer Construction Company is a proud supporter of Wilmington Wildcats football on the Christian Internet Sports Network. For over 40 years, Breezer Construction Company has led the way in providing quality construction to the industrial, utility, and pipeline industries. For more information on Breezer Construction Company, go to breezerconstruction.com. That's breezerconstruction.com. Or call 815-521-0900. When you need the very best representation on your side, the attorneys and staff at Odekirk Allred & Associates are here to help with extensive professional experience in cases involving criminal defense, divorce, custody, personal injury, residential real estate, and driver's license reinstatement. Odekirk Allred & Associates and its diverse team is prepared to commit personalized attention and aggressive representation to achieve positive outcomes for your most stressful legal issues. Odekirk Allred & Associates has a team of highly skilled attorneys from the area, including Wilmington locals. Odekirk Allred & Associates takes pride in its communication skills and unmatched reputation for success. Contact Odekirk Allred & Associates at 815-740-1700 or stop by their new office location in Wilmington at 1095 South Water Street for your free consultation today. Quigley Technology Services is your local source for computer help. They have built numerous websites, including ours here at the Christian Internet Sports Network. Quigley Technology Services also specializes in virus removal, so your computer will get back to full speed now. And you can trust them for first-class computer repair, including free local pickup and delivery, plus on-site service, including after hours. Contact Quigley Technology Services at 815-293-7844 or stop by at quigtech.com. That's QUIG tech.com. Phelan Acres Bible Church is the perfect place if you are looking for a church to call home. They have services every week, including Sunday school at 9:45, morning worship at 11, and Wednesday night prayer meetings at 7. Phelan Acres Bible Church is located at 26009 Willow Lane in Wilmington, Illinois. And for more information, call 815-476-7818. That's 815-476-7818. If you're looking for more information on Wilmington Wildcats football, then check out the Catbackers every Wednesday at 7 at Tuffy's. Each week, Coach Reentz goes over game film, takes questions from the audience, and presents the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week awards. Plus, you'll get to hang out with other Wildcat fans and get the inside scoop on next week's game. So be sure to check out the Catbackers every Wednesday at 7 at Tuffy's.
Back here on the 2017 playoff pairing show, we pulled up Columbia while we were on the break. That's where Herscher is actually playing Columbia. Columbia's coming up there. It's just a mere 4 hours, 350 or 250 miles, 250 miles, 4 hours. I mean, Dennis said that it told him if you started walking now, he could be there in 3 days.
Hey, if they had the high-speed train going, they'd be here in about an hour or so.
Class 5A now is out. Phillips, there they are, 9-0 and a 1 seed. We'll get number 16 Morgan Park, who's 5-4. Back of the yards, who has 25 playoff points. At 8-1, we'll get Solario at 7-2. That's an 8-9 matchup. Lamont, a 4 seed, and ironically enough, a team Wilmington used to play back in the day. At 8-1, we'll get Woodstock North, a 13 seed at 5-4. And number 5, Lakes at 8-1. We'll get Westinghouse, one of those public league teams. Okay, second section here. Sterling, a 2 seed at 9-0, gets St. Viator, a 15 seed at 5-4. Lindblom at 8-1, a 7 seed. Will get number 10 Caneland, who, ironically enough, didn't they just beat Morris this year at 6-3? Antioch, 3 seed at 9-0. Will get Woodstock Marion, who's 5-4. That's a 3-14 matchup. Chicago Peyton at 8-1, we'll get Glenbard South at 5-4 and 11 seed. Now number 1 Dunlap at 9-0, we'll get number 16 Streeter. Good luck with that, Bulldogs at 5-4. Number 8 Rich Central at 7-2, we'll get Marion at 6-3. That's an 8-9 matchup. Number 4 Hillcrest at 7-2, we'll get number 13 Peoria at 6-3, and Glenwood at 7-2, we'll get Muhammad Seymour, who's 6-3. That's a 5-12 matchup. So Streeter gets in and gets the 1 seed Dunlap in 5A, and that could be
I'll tell you what, Caneland is a pretty darn good 6-3 team.
Yeah, I think you're right. So they're going through a couple teams here, but when we get those brackets out here for you, I'll make sure to post them in the 5A section so that if you come to the site, you can take a look.
I've never
at some
heard of
those.
that. Of the woods or in the woods or
we still have more to go here, I guess.
Yeah.
Triad at 8-1 will get Peoria Richwoods at 5-4. It's a 2-15 matchup. Centralia will get Morton. That's 7-10. Number 3 Washington at 7-20 apparently. We'll get number 14 Tinley Park at 5-4, and number 6 Decatur MacArthur at 7-2. We'll get Peoria Notre Dame. That's a 6-11 matchup. So I think that's the end of the 5A
yeah,
bracket.
you got him.
So Streeter in 5A and an I-8 opponent. I think, is that the first time that the I-8s had somebody in 5A make the playoffs?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think it's always been 4A or lower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the first time.
I don't remember anybody being.
Yeah, I was trying to think back, but yeah, I don't remember anybody. Not even Streeter, Sandwich. Sandwich is always 4A, right?
Yeah, because they've always been 700-800 or somewhere in there. But there's the head coach of Dunlap. How do you feel about playing Streeter in the first round?
Well, they're a good team. They're in that hard IA conference.
So when's the last time Streeter was in the playoffs? It's been a while, I think, right?
I'm willing to bet it's been
forever,
a decade at least. It has not been.
So they're
since
pretty
they
happy,
joined
probably.
The I-8.
Right now, they're pretty happy.
Yeah, I guess you're happy that you're in as opposed to being out. But in about 6 days or so, you might not be so thrilled with that. But well, I mean, of course, though, anytime you make it, it's time to celebrate a little bit because you had a good year.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, look at 23 years ago.
Yep,
you had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Jeff?
That's right.
Well, and you do, and even at 5-4, you had a successful year. You won more games than you lost, and you have a chance to do something in the playoffs. I mean, there's a lot of teams that would like to trade places with you.
Yeah, it gets some excitement for your school. Possibly helps you build the program. Maybe some kids who didn't go out last year go out next year.
But that kid is not a very big quarterback.
No, he's short.
He looks tiny.
Yeah,
from Dunlap.
Throws a nice ball, but I don't know how he's seeing who he's throwing it to, but.
Yeah, I think that's going to be some trouble for Streeter.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Looks like they got a nice running back.
Or either he's small or his linemen are huge.
Yes.
Let's think of that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, that's
Some
true.
big horses.
But, yeah, as soon as we get that kind of the site catches up, we'll put that up here on 5A for you. And going back to Herscher playing Columbia. Columbia has to make a 4-hour road trip to come up to Herscher, and more than likely that's not going to go well for them. And then they got to have a 4-hour road trip back.
Well, they'll be able to see the sights of fall in Illinois, the changing of the colors.
Empty fields, because I think they've probably done most of the...
Yeah, for the most part. Mm-hmm.
It's okay, though, because by then, I think next week, it was, 78 today or 80 or something like that?
They said snow.
I know, and next week they're saying it's not going to give
snow.
over 40.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I haven't seen that. That's 7 days away for crying out loud. They don't know what it's going to do tomorrow.
Yeah, you live in Illinois, Dennis. Come on.
Right?
They can't get anything right more than 12 hours from now.
Yeah.
But let's see.
They
what
all stare at the TV. It's like, are they going to do the next pairing or are they going to not?
Maybe they don't know.
And they don't know.
I think they're going to end up taking a break, and when they do, we will as well. By the way, Elmwood Brimfield will get Wilmington. That's the 3A playoffs, and it will be at Wilmington next weekend. Paxton Buckley Loda will be at Peatone. That's the two 3A teams from the I-8.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's a Saturday game.
Paxton Buckley?
No, the Wilmington game.
Oh, against Elmwood Brimfield?
Yeah.
Yep. Where are they from? Are they more south of here?
I
know the name.
I want to say out west, but I might be wrong on that.
Place where that is. I know. Well, in Wilmington's case, they would like to play it on Friday, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you never. Yeah. And if it's some of these teams that are down south, the goofy Saturday football stuff kind of that bugs me. First of all, but
Saturday at noon kickoff.
I know. I just can't.
There's a lot of teams down south that still like to play Saturday games.
I guess.
They don't have electric, no lights.
A lot of them don't have lights.
What are you talking about, Arcola?
Yeah. The Amish.
We cannot.
Let's not make fun of them.
They have candles.
They're listening, I'm sure.
Dennis, that's so mean. Funny, but we're rolling through. Let's see, we just got done with 5A. We'll put those up here in a moment when we get those kind of caught up here. And then we'll have, we still have 6A, 7A, 8A to come. And a lot of teams kind of in there that will know, not necessarily from our area, but that will know. And 4A, let's run through that real quick for the area teams. And you can see it kind of there on your screen, whether it's on your phone or tablet or laptop or wherever. Number 12, Kewanee at 6-3 will be at number 5, Morris at 7-2. Manteno will have to make the road trip to Effingham. That's about 2.5 hours at least down the road, maybe 3. The 10-seed Manteno will be at 7, Effingham. Columbia will have to make the 4-hour, 250-mile road trip from Columbia to Herscher, and the 14-seed at 5-4 will take on the Tigers, who are 8-1 and a 3-seed. And Coal City, an 11-seed at 6-3, will have to hit the road to go take on Taylorville. And I believe that was that 2.5 hours or 3 hours or something like that down there to Taylorville? So there's a lot of traveling going on in 4A.
Yeah, I mean, but it makes it interesting. I mean, they got away from the quads where you were playing teams that you played during the regular season and over again. And so at least you get a little bit of travel. It's not, I mean, it could be 1 through 32.
True.
Like, and you know, next thing you know, some team up in Chicago is going all the way down to Mount Vernon. I mean, it's pretty close right now, but it just comes down to it's about the experience. Traveling seeing these other teams, how their facilities are, how they do things. You know what? I love, the people that come here for the first time, come to Wilmington for the first time, and they see the motorcycle and the fireworks and the cannon. They are in amazement.
Right.
And then next thing you know, other schools start doing stuff for their kids as they come in. They do a tunnel, they do, and it just starts to, and it breathes life into these programs that when people pick up and, it's like, hey, these schools do things for these teams. Maybe we should start doing it, because we didn't always come out of the woods. We didn't always have tunnels. I remember when they just ran out of the locker room to we will rock you. Back in the 80s. I'm just saying. So it's just everything evolves.
It has, and it's and even in the I-8, from Wilmington doing fireworks and all that, now you see that at Coal City and Reed Custer, and there's other places that kind of have adopted that. I enjoy even those week 1 and week 2 matchups, like playing Ottawa this year. I enjoy that, seeing teams that you don't normally get to see. It's just kind of an interesting, and that's the whole point to playoff football, is the fact that you want to see how you match up against other people in the state. I mean, we already know what's going to happen when you play Piatone and Mantino and all that. And, get somebody new. Match up. Now, I mean, of course, if you're all in the same division, you're going to end up meeting each other somewhere down the line. And that's fine, but I agree with you. I like seeing different opponents. I think the travel thing that they came up with a few years ago was just ridiculous. You're only playing 2 or 3 playoff games usually, maybe even 1 in some cases. You can drive to 3 hours. I mean, it's not going to, like the kids aren't going to, freak out for a 3-hour road trip for one time. I mean,
and let's face it, the team's riding pretty good comfort.
Right.
Pretty nice.
Not. Right.
The coach buses.
Well,
and all that
not all the teams. I mean, there's some schools
Most
who can't
of them.
afford coach buses. And here's the thing: if they're going to complain, I mean, you go from one side of the coin to the other. Is where schools, well, we're 5-4, we're going to travel to a 9-0 to lose, and we have to drive 300 miles.
Yeah.
But now you have teams complaining that they want to be in it 2-8 or 2-7, whatever it is. They want to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I want everybody.
That's why did Dwight leave the conference? Because they want to make the playoffs. They have yet to, I think, since they left the conference. Why is Seneca leaving? They want to go play easier teams to make the playoffs. Braidwood was talking about leaving.
Yeah.
Because they want to they just want to make the playoffs. They don't care about the drive.
Well, that's just kind of there's a lot of things that go in. I mean, we've talked at length about the IHSA and some of the insanity that goes on there, but I think, it's the best scenario is to get as many different teams that you can take a look at as possible. By the way, I had
back to the other team.
A guy I went to high school with, his son plays football at Troy Triad, which they were an 8-1 team there. They lost to Morris last year in the quarterfinals or something, I think. But interesting to see that name pop up on the screen in 5A. Well, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have 3 classes left. We've got 6A, 7A, 8A. We'll also recap everything else. You're listening to the IHSA Playoff Pairings Show here on the Christian Internet Sports Network.
If you need something done around your house, chances are Beth's Busy Bees can get it done. They specialize in residential and commercial cleaning, but they can also do lawn care, small home remodeling and repair jobs, and even things like caregiving. Beth's Busy Bees is a small family-owned business, and they will treat you right every time. Call 815-685-9111 for Beth's Busy Bees today. Warren's Collision Center is your hometown body shop. Your vehicle will get expert care with their drive-on frame rack and in their Bink spray booth. Warren's offers free estimates, pickup and delivery service, and they will get you set up with a loaner car while yours is in the shop. Warren's Collision Center is located at 242 North Front Street in Braidwood, or online anytime at warrenscollision.com. That's warrenscollision.com. Warren's Collision Center, where they care beyond the repair. Teresa's Family Styling Salon in Wilmington is an all-ages salon that will style your hair for that special look. They offer cuts, perms, and coloring for any fashion. They also carry Paul Mitchell and Brocato products. Teresa's Family Styling Salon is located in the Southgate Plaza in Wilmington, and you can call for an appointment at 815-476-1955. That's 815-476-1955. Racchetti's Cafe and Pizzeria in Coal City is all about relaxing with family and friends while sharing an authentic Italian festival of food. They are the home of the Chicago-style deep dish pizza, but they also have a full menu, including pastas, burgers, salads, and more. Check out all of their daily specials, too, online at racchettis.net. Ricchetti's Cafe and Pizzeria is at 375 South Broadway in Coal City, and they are open till midnight or later every night. Stop in for an authentic Italian experience at Ricchetti's.
Back here on the playoff pairing show, we get to 6A, and here we go. Number 1 seed Prairie Ridge at 9-0 will get number 16 Crystal Lake Central at 5-4. St. Ignatius at 7-2, and an 8 seed will get the 9 Cary Grove at 6-3. Number 4 Willowbrook at 8-1 will play 13 Deerfield at 5-4. Number 5 DeKalb at 7-2 will get number 12 Montini at 6-3. DeKalb has had a really good team for the last number of years. Speaking of nicknames, I think they're the Barbs for barbed wire. Number 2, Riverside Brookfield at 8-1. By the way, they're one loss to IC out of 3A, and Riverside Brookfield is a 2 seed in 6A. We'll take on number 15 Lake Forest at 5-4. Hoffman Estates up there by Schaumburg at 7-2, and a 7 seed will take on number 10 De La Salle at 6-3. Rockford Auburn at 8-1. Boy, they went through that quick. We'll come back to that in a minute. Number 1 Crete Monee at 8-1 will take number 16 Hinsdale South at 5-4. Number 8 St. Lawrence at 6-3 will play Quincy also at 6-3. That's an 8-9 matchup. Number 4 Richards at 7-2 will get number 13 Providence at 5-4. And number 5 Normal West at 7-2 will get number 12 Eisenhower at 6-3. How would you like to be Richards and play Providence? You're like, yeah, we get a 5-4 team. A 5-4 team that has 59 playoff points.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. All right, the other part here, number 2 Nazareth at 8-1. They get Springfield at 5-4, 2-15 matchup there. Number 7 Danville will play number 10 Thornton Fractional South at 6-3. Number 3 Shepherd at 8-1 will take on number 14 Marmion at 5-4, and number 6 Sacred Heart Griffin at 7-2 will get the 11 seed there at the bottom. And we'll come back to that in just a moment. They put them up there. They kind of ran through those relatively quickly. And we'll take a glance at those as soon as the website decides to not crash.
It's because nobody cares about anything above 5A. 3A. Technically 3A, but I'm just saying. That looks like Russell Crowe.
It does kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Gladiator.
There's with I was talking about Providence a minute ago. Providence at 5-4 with 59 playoff points, and Richards out of the city has to take them on. And that's when you just go, really, seriously, this is who you give us at 5-4 is Providence.
Right.
We couldn't get somebody else, just anyone. Okay, there are a couple things here that we missed. Number 1, number 6 Chicago Mather will take on Grayslake North. That was the 6-11 matchup. Chicago Mather at 7-2 and Grayslake North at 6-3. And then the bottom part there, Sacred Heart Griffin will take on Hubbard out of Chicago. That's the other 6-11 matchup. Let's go back through here. Take a quick look and see if there's anything that I might have missed out of this, but I don't think so. The one real kind of local team there is Providence, and they'll be fine at 5-4. Probably the best 13 seed
I saw
maybe ever.
Montini's in that bracket? Or in that
yes, yes, Montini's in that bracket.
Yeah. They're 6-3, I think, this year.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean anything.
No, I know.
They have the Crete Monee head coach on. Boy, is that program really taken off in the last few years.
Yeah.
Laquan Treadwell was there a few years ago and then went on to play receiver at Mississippi, and now for the Minnesota Vikings, I believe. One of the best receivers in the country when he went to Mississippi. He played there at Crete Monee probably 6 or 7 years ago now.
Okay.
But that was kind of the start of that whole thing kind of going on an uptick, and man, have they been on fire for the last 7-8 years. They were just talking to him on that show there, and that's a tough draw for anyone because that program just continues to churn out athletes. And, of course, there's go down through the list there in 5A, and there's a whole bunch of teams to look at, too, when we go 5A and then 6A. And, of course, 7 and 8A, and then you start getting up in the big schools, and we'll go through those as well. But the interesting story going into this year was Chicago Phillips electing to not stay in 4A and petitioning.
There was a chance they would be 3A because their enrollment had dropped so low. They technically would be a 3A team this year.
Phillips and IC.
Oh, yeah. That would be a game that I want to watch.
Yeah,
I'd love to watch that game.
That'd be great.
Yeah. They'd both be in the North.
Yeah.
So only one of them's going to make it, right? To the
Yeah. Well, boy, you want to talk about a semifinal game?
Yeah.
That'd be ridiculous. But Phillips petition to go up. They end up at 5A, and after all that, they get a 1 seed in 5A and go undefeated to take on Morgan Park.
I wonder how that works, because they'll have that they'll automatically be bumped up. They would have automatically been bumped up, right?
Yeah.
Or did that only start last year, so it didn't qualify the year before when they made the? See, this is where it gets all weird. So then, if it's only these last 2 years. So since they were there last year and they're again this year and they're playing 5A, does it have to be 2 consecutive years at 5A to get bumped up to 6A?
I don't know. I can't find the rule anywhere. I looked for that. I looked for that wording and I couldn't find it anywhere. If anybody from the IHSA office is listening, please call us.
You can call
clarify some
John's
questions.
cell phone at 815.
Yeah.
If you have any complaints about the broadcast on football night, if he doesn't pronounce your kid's name right, give him a call.
If
Let
Dennis
him know.
offends the entire Amish community, tell him to go ahead.
My phone's ringing.
So as we go back through, that was the 6A bracket. We go back and kind of touch on 3A again, because I know people are kind of jumping in and out here. Elmwood Brimfield will be Wilmington's opponent either Friday or Saturday next week. And as soon as we know that, that'll be up on any number of social media pages, including ours here. And we'll kind of let you know that as soon as possible. We'll have that game no matter what. If it's Friday, Dennis will do that one. If it's Saturday, I might be back for it maybe. And the other team there that was kind of one we were looking at was Peatone. Paxton, Buckley, Loda will hit the road to take on Peatone this next weekend as well. And then in 4A, the other I-8 teams that we were looking at tonight, Mantino will have to make the 2.5-hour, 3-hour trip to Effingham. Columbia will make the 4-hour trip to Herscher. And Coal City will make their 3+ hour trip to Taylorville. That's all the I-8 matchups in 4A, because all of the I-8 went south and Morris went north for some reason. And Streeter in 5A, the other I-8 team in the playoffs here at 5 and 4, will be at the number 1 seed Dunlap. That's kind of where all the I-8 teams have kind of fallen into things here. And, of course, Morris in that particular mix as well.
No, this is still 6.
This is still 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of going back through.
And it's kind of one of the things you'll see, especially in 7 and 8A, is how every school's in Chicago except for one, East St. Louis.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And is there another one down there? Springfields, maybe? Or
there's
the Sacred Heart Griffin?
Yeah.
While looking at those 3A brackets, we just mentioned Wilmington. The winner of Wilmington and Elmwood Brimfield will get either the number 1 seed Farmington or number 16 Winnebago. And, boy, that's a tough game, week 2, for either Wilmington or Elmwood Brimfield. And then if you manage to get through that game, you'll more than likely get the winner of IC and Peatone, which probably will be IC. Boy, that's out of all these brackets, that's a tough road to get there.
I mean, they're all tough. I heard people say, the year that when Wilmington won state in 14, Wilmington had an easy draw. They played some pretty tough teams.
Yeah. Well, and every year you're going to get, and sometimes a top seed gets knocked off or something, and that helps. But let's take another break. We're going to come back with the 7A. I think we only have 2 left, 7 and 8A. We'll get to that here in just a minute. You're listening to the IHSA Playoff Pairing Show.
Pro Real Estate is a family-owned business established in 1983. Its staff and sales agents work in all areas of real estate sales, from first-time homebuyers to experienced investors. Located at 506 South Water Street in Wilmington, clients are welcome to stop by to discuss their real estate needs or visit our website at pro-homes.net. For a private consultation, contact us at 815-476-7916. Breezer Construction Company is a proud supporter of Wilmington Wildcats football on the Christian Internet Sports Network. For over 40 years, Breezer Construction Company has led the way in providing quality construction to the industrial, utility, and pipeline industries. For more information on Breezer Construction Company, go to breezerconstruction.com. That's breezerconstruction.com. or call 815-521-0900. When you need the very best representation on your side, the attorneys and staff at Odekirk Allred and Associates are here to help with extensive professional experience in cases involving criminal defense, divorce, custody, personal injury, residential real estate, and driver's license reinstatement. Odekirk Allred and Associates and its diverse team is prepared to commit personalized attention and aggressive representation to achieve positive outcomes for your most stressful legal issues. Odekirk Allred and Associates has a team of highly skilled attorneys from the area, including Wilmington locals. Odekirk Allred and Associates takes pride in its communication skills and unmatched reputation for success. Contact Odekirk Allred and Associates at 815-740-1700 or stop by their new office location in Wilmington at 1095 South Water Street for your free consultation today.
Back here on the football playoff pairing show as we get set for the last couple brackets of the night. Here's 7A. Number 1, Honaga. Sure. At 9-0, we'll take on number 32, Harlem at 5-4. Good luck with that one. Number 16, Maine West at 7-2. We'll get 17, Bennett at 6-3. Number 8 seed, Hersey at 8-1. We'll get number 25, Rolling Meadows at 6-3. Number 9, Lincoln Way Central at 8-1. We'll take on Rockford East at 6-3. That is the dreaded 9-24 matchup out of the 7A bracket. Boy, 132.
Yeah,
that's a tough.
That's the way it should all be.
I agree with you.
That's the way it all used to be.
I agree. Number 4, Batavia at 8-1 will take on Glenbar North at 5-4. That's a 429 matchup. Number 13, Wheaton North at 7-2 will take on number 20, Fenwick at 6-3. Lincoln Park, a 5 seed at 8-1, will take on number 28, Alton at 5-4. And number 12, Lincoln Way West, which is actually not too far from Wilmington High School, at 7-2. They will take on number 21, Jacobs at 6-3. Number 2, Normal Community at 9-0 will take on number 31, Downers Grove North at 5-4. Moline at 7-2 will take on Mount Carmel at 6-3. That's a 15-18 matchup. Number 7, East St. Louis. There you go, Dennis. At 8-1 will take on Libertyville at 5-4. That's a 7-26 matchup. And number 10, Buffalo Grove at 8-1 will get Belleville West at 6-3. That's a 10-23 matchup.
And I think East St. Louis, just to jump in there, petition to play up as well. I think they're a 6A team petition to play up to 7A.
And East St. Louis will host Libertyville. But that's, you want to talk about a road trip.
Right. Oh, something we found out while we were on the break. Piatone, they play Friday at 7.
Yeah. I put it up here, and I completely forgot to mention it. Paxton, Buckley, Loda, and Piatone Friday at 7. Number 3 out of 7A, Lake Zurich 9-0 will take on number 30, Schaumburg at 5-4. Number 14, Plainfield North at 7-2 will get number 19, Andrew at 6-3. Number 6, St. Charles North at 8-1 will take on number 27, Highland Park at 5-4. Number 11, St. Rita at 7-2 will take on number 22, Simeon at 6-3. So, yes, once again, PBL and Piatone Friday night at 7, and that'll be over there at Piatone. So, boy, we want to talk about a quick turnaround for a game time. My goodness,
I went on Twitter, I checked, and actually 24 minutes ago it was posted.
Yeah, I would think PBL's getting kind of used to coming up this way.
Yeah. I would think so.
And really, Piatone Wilmington is pretty much the same thing for him. So.
Yep, so that should be an interesting first-round matchup for the Blue Devils.
So 7 classes down. There's 1 to go, which is 8A. And another playoff pairing show will be kind of in the books. And once again, just running through I-8 teams. Elmwood, Brimfield at Wilmington in 3A. Paxton, Buckley, Loda will be at Piatone in 3A. That's at 7 o'clock on Friday night. We already have a game time for that. In 4A, Kewanee will be at Morris. Of course, not an I-8 game, but still local. Number 10, Mantino will be at number 7, Effingham in 4A. Number 14, Columbia will be at Herscher in 4A as well. And also in 4A, Coal City will be at Taylorville. In 5A, Streeter will be at Dunlap. So all of those 3, 4, and 5A matchups for the I-8 here coming up this next weekend. So it seems like this show gets stretched out more and more every year. I mean, it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's already 9:30, and
we'll have
it seems like I can remember when it took a half hour, and it was done.
Right, boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah,
a half hour.
Remember the one year though?
When was that?
They you had to they drew something to split the brackets. They picked, and it was random.
They had it on a board.
Yeah,
but that's when they were doing quads. They first started doing quads.
It was weird.
What? It sounds
they were doing drawing on
so it could be this quad being against this quad and that quad, and it was random on what quad faced which quad.
Right. Yeah.
In the semis.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like.
I think it looks like we're going to have a Saturday game here, boys.
You think so?
I have it under reliable.
Do you have a time?
No, I don't have a time.
Well, that's
look at Jeff over there.
Yeah.
He's furiously working his cell
like
phone trying to figure out.
It's his Amish connection.
It's not yours.
I'm more of a Mennonite person.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I think there's times we reach in this broadcast where we're desperately trying to come up with something to say. I think we've gotten there. We still have one bracket left, which is 8A, and if that Wilmington game is on a Saturday,
it's going to be Saturday.
That's going to throw a wrench into everything. For
Saturday
me.
at noon.
No, 6. I'm going to guess.
You think it'll be that? Why would we play at 6 on Saturday if we wouldn't play 6 on Friday?
Because it's Saturday? I don't know. He usually plays at 6 on Saturday.
No, we played last year on Friday, first game.
No, I mean on Saturdays.
Our first games are usually on Fridays.
On Saturdays, we usually play 6. You can start the game up till 7.
Right.
So.
Well,
but there's no time yet. So
we've had some fast turnarounds here. The Piatone time's already out there. Friday is 7. Jeff is working some connections to try to figure out the Wilmington one, which is looking like that might be Saturday instead of Friday. But we'll kind of keep that open here, and then of course whenever we find out, we'll pass it along to you, and it'll also be on the Facebook page on a number of places too. So we'll make sure to get to that here as soon as we know. We still have 8A to come. No matter when, where, how, what time that game is going to be this coming weekend, we will have it for you, either Dennis or myself, this coming weekend. And that's kind of, I don't know what we're going to do if that's on Saturday, because that's become like a yearly ritual where Dennis just kind of does the round one.
The round one,
yeah. I might start my own radio station if I don't get to do it.
Oh, okay.
We'll compete.
There's plenty of open spots.
Right.
The internet is a vast universe.
It sure is.
I was looking up the Elmwood Brimfield is at, and it's just a little bit west of Peoria and a little bit north, right off of 74. So that's where they got to come from.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not. I mean,
not a bad drive.
A little bit of a drive, but not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not the 4A drive, that's for sure.
No.
Whew. Some of those are.
That might be the longest drive.
I can't imagine there's too many more. For week 1, you're driving 4 hours?
Yeah.
It seems a little much, but, like Dennis said, it gives you a chance to see different people and, just some different opportunities.
Mantino football game time.
Yep.
Saturday at 2 o'clock at Effingham High School.
Okay. Well, we can go ahead and put that one in then.
There you go.
So let's see.
Yeah, I like how I can get all the other schools' times, but I can't get our own. What's up with that?
So we're starting to get some in here. So Piatone will play Friday at 7. Mantino will be at Effingham taking on the Flaming Hearts at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and we'll add some more if we get any more here tonight. We'll add them on in. Why not? Yeah.
Well, then I will go check the Herscher page to see if they've posted theirs.
But that's when, coaches are kind of thinking along the same lines when it gets done that fast.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing almost all those games in 4A will be Saturday. With those travel distances, I can't imagine any of those I-8 4A games will be on Friday. That's too long of a trip to do on a Friday night, especially with school and everything already going on. So we'll see, though. But officially, Mantino will be at Effingham Saturday at 2. Paxton Buckley Loda will be at Piatone. That game is at Friday at 7 p.m. We're waiting to kind of find out what's going on with Wilmington as far as a time and a day. They are taking on Elmwood Brimfield. The winner of that game would get the winner of Farmington and Winnebago. And the winner of that game more than likely would get IC. So if you're looking ahead here, for Wilmington, there's really no need to do that. You got to take care of business with Elmwood Brimfield, which isn't going to be a walk in the park to begin with. And then if you win that, you're probably going to get Farmington, which is another really decent opponent. And you got to worry about all that before you even think about what's going on with IC. And you worry about IC when you get there.
Yep, one game at a time.
For now, you just got to go to that Elmwood Brimfield game and start worrying about that. And for Piatone, you definitely have to do that. You have to take on Paxton Buckley Loda, and IC is sitting right there. But again, you just got to win that first one and then try to come up with some sort of plan against IC. I guess, well, and Piatone would have to. Piatone would they be at home for that game?
Yes.
IC?
Oh.
No.
Who's the higher seed there? It's Piatone.
Piatone's the higher seed. And
they would be at home. That's why the Elmhurst game, if we made it,
would be there.
We'd be there.
Okay.
Yep.
But if Piatone and IC both win, that game would be at Piatone. That would be
to Coach Rinch's point at Catbackers.
We
got 8A. Okay.
They went straight to 8A.
I'll save my thought.
All right, we'll get back to that in a minute. Lincoln Way East at 9-0. We'll get Joliet West at 5-4. That's a 132 matchup and a local matchup at that. Oswego East at 7-2 gets St. Charles East. I kind of missed that. We'll come back to that in a minute. Number 4, Homewood Flossmoor at 8-1 gets number 29 Lake Park at 5-4. Number 13, Naperville Central at 7-2. We'll get West Aurora at 7-2. They are a 20 seed. Number 5, Maine South at 8-1 will get number 28 Evanston at 6-3, and number 12 Bolingbrook at 7-2 will play number 21 Warren at 6-3. So a couple kind of local teams there. Bolingbrook not real far away, getting a 12 seed, and of course the Joliet West. Did I say it was Joliet West and
Lincoln Way East?
Yeah, Lincoln Way East. Is the other one there. Number 2, Barrington at 9-0 will take on number 31, Glenbrook South at 5-4. Number 15, Manuka at 7-2 will take on number 18, Niles Notre Dame at 7-2. Number 7, Huntley at 8-1 will get number 26, Edwardsville at 6-30. Apparently, I'm guessing that's supposed to be 6-3. Mm-hmm. And number 10, South Elgin at 8-1 will take on number 23, Palatine. Number 3, Marist at 9-0 will get number 30, Oak Park River Forest. They are at 5-4. Number 14, Lions at 7-2 will take on number 19, Curry at 7-2. Number 6, Loyola in 1 will play number 27, New Trier at 6-3. And number 11, Hinsdale Central at 7-2 will get number 22, Stevenson at 6-3. Back to the top part of this here. Let's see. Lincoln Way East at 9-0 and Joliet West at 5-4. That was the 132 matchup. Oswego East at 7-2 gets St. Charles East at 7-2. That's 16-17. And then a couple of games here that kind of got taken off the board. Glenbard West out of Glen Ellen at 8-1 will take on Bloom Township out of Chicago Heights at 6-3. That's an 8-25 matchup. And then Oswego, the number 9 seed at 8-1, will get number 24 Naperville North at 6-3. See here. Homewood Flossmoor at 8-1 will get Roselle Lake Park at 5-4. That's a 4-29 matchup. Number 13, Naperville Central at 7-2 will get number 20, West Aurora at 7-2. Number 5, Maine South out of Park Ridge. Boy, that team just continues to roll out. You talk about a football program. Maine South is it. Evanston Township at 6-3. That's a 5-28 matchup. And then Bolingbrook and Gurney Warren, 7-2 and 6-3. What Manuka? Let me go back to that Manuka matchup. Let's see, Manuka and Niles Notre Dame in that bottom part. So that's the final bracket there out of 8A.
That's the 4A map.
Holy smokes!
They finally were able to.
They're putting maps up finally.
That's a long.
This is the way they drew they drew a line. But
and Morris got very fortunate with where they're at because everybody's relatively close. Coal City, of course, literally just 10 miles or so from Morris goes south and Morris goes north.
Mm-hmm.
But,
somebody had to.
Yeah, it makes sense. I
so did Mantino.
Based on where those teams are at, that's where that would fall, I think. So, but yeah, some of those, like that Columbia to Herscher thing. Oh my goodness, that's a long, long road trip. But there you have it, folks. That's the 1 through 8A brackets for the IHSA football playoffs. And right now, the only times that we have for sure, Paxton Buckley Lodi at Peatone. That game is on Friday at 7. Mantino at Effingham. That game will be Saturday at 2. Those are the only 2 game times that we have for sure here, although we're relatively sure that Wilmington will be on Saturday, but we're not going to say that quite yet because we have to wait for official word. And, yeah, so it looks like it will be Saturday, we just don't know what time yet. So we'll kind of wait on the coaches to put those things together. But it does appear Wilmington will play on Saturday for the first time in quite a few years because you've been doing the first round game on Friday for 4 or 5 years in a row now. So this is the first time in a while that
we went on
Saturday.
a spree of Friday night games first round. Here's a 3A map, John.
And that's also kind of interesting. 3A is really
it's spread out
everywhere because that's just one of those things where there's 3A schools all over the state. So literally as far north as you can go and as far south and as far east and almost as far west as you can go in the state. It's almost top to bottom, left to right, all over the place. So that's kind of an interesting – and even with that, some people are going to have to travel. That's just the way it is. But it seems to be relatively well laid out there. But interestingly enough, IC is the only team out of Cook County or DuPage, for that matter, that's 3A and in the playoffs. So that's kind of interesting. But, yeah, it'll be – I mean, let's face it, IC is a team to beat in 3A, but you got to go through the other teams first. So you worry about Elmwood Brimfield first, get that win, and then worry about the next opponent, and then you worry about IC because that's – you worry about them now, it's not going to help you anyway. So kind of go one particular game at a time. Well, I think that gets us to the end of the playoff pairing show. Any pearls of wisdom left from either one of you gentlemen?
No, not really. I mean,
speak good about the Amish people. Yeah. I think we learned that tonight.
Sorry. No, I mean it's the same every year. You know, Wilmington. Not to say same every year that Wilmington makes the playoffs, but they make the playoffs. You know, they're gonna put out the best game plan they can. And they're gonna play their football, which is smash it out, grind it out football. You know, and it's hopefully we have a better game plan than the other team, and we're able to pull off a victory on Saturday. I know that sounds cliche, but that's what it comes down to. It's just you make it this far, you have to have something going for your team, and on either side, being if either they're 5-4 or they're 9-0. You know, you've put together a winning team, and you see how far it takes you. We've seen 6-3s and win state championships. We've seen 9-0s win state championships. So anything's possible. So just got to play it one game at a time.
Well, and you get to the fun part of the year now where we get to see a bunch of different people, not just against Wilmington, but all over the place. I mean, the I-8's playing a lot of different opponents from different conferences. And for me, that's fun to watch because you get to see how your conference stacks up against some other places and kind of how you play. And for the last few years, the I-8 has really held its own. I mean, gone deep into the playoffs to semifinals and all those kind of things the last few years. So, and I can't imagine it's going to be much different this year. There's some really strong teams in the I-8, and that'll be interesting. 3A through 5A, and we'll kind of see where
conference is always well represented. Well represented. I guarantee you, there's game film flying around the internet right now.
I'm sure there is, and
all over the place.
We will have that game for you, the Wilmington game this weekend. That very well could be Saturday. It looks like that's what it's going to be. When we get that time, we'll pass that along too. But no matter what, we'll have coverage of that game here. And, we'll go one game at a time.
Right.
It's that fun part of the year. We get in the playoff time, and you kind of just sit back and see what happens. And boy, another end to a playoff pairing show.
Yeah.
This year just went.
It was nutty fast.
Every year it flies by anymore.
It didn't even seem like they played 9 games. But here we
Well,
are.
for everybody, all the Wildcat fans in the area, Wednesday night would be a good night to come out and see some video on Elmwood Brimfield and listen to
the highlights of the Coal City game. Coach will go over and probably talk about the play.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's probably a couple things he'll probably talk about in that game. There's a lot of things in that game. That should be an interesting night. We'll see what they look like, and by then the game plan should be set.
I would think so. Yeah, that's going to be every week. That's interesting going to Camp Backers because you get a lot of things that you don't get from just watching the games. So for sure, come on out to be at Tuffy's 7 o'clock
Wednesday night.
On Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
So now's as good a time.
Everybody's
as
welcome to come.
Yep.
Everybody.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up here, Jeff. Thanks for use of your house. Appreciate that.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Thanks for coming down,
Dennis, for coming on by and helping out again.
Love doing it.
It's fun. We've gotten through another one, and we'll look forward to the playoffs here. We're going to wrap things up. Make sure to check back not only the Facebook page for us, but for Cat Packers as well, and we'll have that time for you here as soon as we get it. But no matter what, just know, no matter when that day or time is, that we'll have that game for you as Wilmington will take on Elmwood Brimfield. We'll wrap things up. We'll see you Saturday, it looks like, for Wilmington and Elmwood Brimfield. Thanks for joining us again tonight. You've been listening to the 2017 IHSA Football Playoff Pairing Show here on the Christian Internet